describe this film in one word, what would it be?
Oh, one word. Well, still a couple of words come to mind, and maybe impression. And another one that somehow, it's maybe not like one word, but what really was all the time coming to my mind, it felt some kind of loneliness all the time through, at least how I saw it with, yeah, one word. Maybe nostalgia would do it. I would not even know what genre is that, because it's definitely not documentary, but to me it had a little feel of it too. So yeah, I would say just yeah, very personal.
Okay.
Yeah, diary. The scene where you show these still pictures of the men, I could really tell that that's really very personal. It means a lot to you, and keeping in mind what was just before and the shots right after, I mean, it really worked to me. Like it was really moving. It's probably the most moving moment in the film, I think, for me, what I was able to get. So yeah, that was touching. I really, really appreciated that it had no dialogue, because that allowed to really the atmosphere to sink in, and somehow allowed to, yeah, perceive the atmosphere in sort of in a deeper level. So, and I really enjoyed the rhythm of it. So, yeah, the music was very, very, very good pick, I would say, really. And I didn't understand the role of the book, of that concrete title. In a way, I don't know why, what exactly it had to mean and what the whole purpose of it was, but I liked it, that it was somehow connecting everything together, being, you know, read and by different people in different locations. It's probably, for me, since I didn't, you know, really get why that concrete book, maybe there's some, like, not even showing the title, just, you know, them reading some abstract book would be, probably would work better. I come from a country that is really strong in cinema language, as we say. It's like I mean that's the language of images, and you know, it's harder, of course, than to narrate and lead the viewer, telling him what you want them to feel. But what I appreciate is then, in any type of work, I can be allowed to dive into somebody's, you know, subconscious mind, and just, you know, feel what they feel, or how they see it via sometimes for a viewer not even directly linked images together. That's what always fascinates me, and it's very interesting to me. So that was nice and refreshing too. And that's why I think it was a little disappointing into that small section of, as I called it, reenactment, because it had the perfect space for images, you know, to do its work, not direct images. I think more, you know, not vague, but yeah, not as direct. So maybe I was expecting that, you know, having the rest of the film. I didn't feel comfortable watching it, so I guess that's probably the goal, you know, to not make you feel being comfortable. So I understand that. It's just, you know, it's the aesthetical side of me, like, or I want something, you know, if it has to, it's a brutal sort of, it has a brutal, how to say, elements, the whole scene. So, but sometimes it can be, how to say, like Peter Greenaway or Almodovar, they're very good into making something which is like brutal and really terrible into somehow being aesthetical and but still uncomfortable, you know, but stylizing that. So maybe that's why, I mean, I just mentioned that's like knowing, you know, the rest of aesthetics, it's like would be really nice to have that the same way. Yeah, for atmosphere wise, because actually, honestly, I didn't really try to grasp every word that was said. I was just listening it to as a music. And just for me, yes, it helped the atmosphere, it added to the atmosphere. Even though at the end, the line, because I was so happy about not having any dialogue, it was like so refreshing to me. And then I started to hear, you know, the last lines, and I thought, oh no, you know, but then somehow it really worked out, I think, because it was not too much, it was just as it needed. So yeah, it was a good idea, I think. I like the idea with the glasses in the car. I don't know fully what you exactly meant by that, whether it's a different viewpoints or like, you know, some kind of look to the past or, you know, but it doesn't even matter. It's just, it was a nice metaphor, I think. And yeah, it was nice and aesthetic too. Stream of conscious, yes. Yeah. Sorry. So that's how I saw the whole thing. And I think that's the strength of it, especially in those parts where I felt like you allowed that really without thinking too much and trying to put the story, just adding the atmospheric, you know, one shot after the other. And yeah, that's, I think, the most powerful parts of it. First, it was a little disturbing because usually I don't like the split screens ever. And for a while, like, you know, it felt like, you know, it's nice. It was working because of the music, because it was very, very distinct rhythm, and the shots did the same thing. But then somehow I just accepted, and it felt fine, you know. It felt like, you know, it's working, because in a way it's good because of the contrast of, you know, that nice, slow, you know, smooth, you know, pace. And yeah, I think it's working. Because I put the note that I was conflicted about it myself, you know, disliked and then liked. And then the plane got, you know, under the flag, the music stopped. So that made me like wonder, okay, what does that mean? You know, somehow it can be interpreted in so many ways. I mean, if you want to go in philosophical way, but I mean, I love planes and just, you know, the way they were, you know, yeah. And it seemed like, I don't know, like, is it intentional? But yeah, the plane getting under the flag, it seems like it sort of absorbed it. It sort of ate, I mean, not ate, but sort of took it, destroyed almost. And it's like in between beautiful and something that's, how to say, what comes to symbolism, I mean, for me, because, you know, I grasped it from the first time, like I saw the Bible, like, okay, we know what's happening, and then I think we saw it 2 more times or something. I might be wrong, maybe 3 in total or even more. And then the blood, and it's just, and then the cross and crucifix, and yeah, it was yeah, heavy and maybe a little over. I'm still trying to understand what exactly it was about, because I couldn't get whether the guy was trying to be converted to being a gay or not being a gay. I couldn't understand that part.
One more question about the kissing scene. Did it make you at all uncomfortable?
Yes, a little bit, not like much at all, but you know, it's, I guess, like I didn't know that about myself, you know, because not that I come from the country that is like, it's rather a new thing for us. And you know, I have a couple of friends, but when you are friends, you are friends. You don't think about them that way. But you know, it's like, yeah, like when you think about it, like when you see in the movies, like man and woman kissing, like we sort of go well with it. Like we're so used to that, we don't even think whether it's aesthetically pleasing or not, or like, you know, it's just so normal. And here, like, since it was plus, it was like a really, really big close-up, and somehow it's like, I want to like, you know, go a little bit that further, like I caught myself, I'm like, but you know, it's, and again, like probably it's, you know, if that's like a shortcut, like it's, I wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't develop that, you know, feel, you know, for me. But now I like have no escape. I'm sitting and I have to watch it, so it felt like a little bit, yeah. It's like traveling, you know, from one state to another, from one feeling to another, and it's just, it's meditative to me. So, you know, it's like most of the scenes to me, like I was glad not to look for any meanings or explanations. It's just, I feel like it's just, I'm being walked through somebody's personal memories, you know, experiences, feelings, everything sort of mixed up, and not mixed up, but you know, it's just like a flow of that, and that's how I received everything. Yeah, it's very recognizable streets. So, and again, it's just it's around the sunset, I think. So it's, you know, it's that, yeah, but very typical, you know, atmosphere of riding through Los Angeles. And you know, it was nice, I think, to include that in a film as another location, because the others I couldn't recognize apart New York and Los Angeles. It's just, you know, that means like the journey we're taking is just goes through, you know, all these different cities, places, so it just makes it more.
Words are not always necessary to express an idea.
in movies, definitely not. And that's maybe like it's my thing. I'm just trained, like it cannot be, it's not a good word to say trained, but I'm so used to watch films and, you know, just not overanalyze every single moment of it. It's just whether I take something with it or not, or whether I allow myself to get into the, you know, director's point of view or the message or the story, or I don't. So I don't need to know everything behind it. And you know, of course I have a curiosity if I have a chance to talk afterwards and find out more, you know, stories, what's behind. But then I watch, it's like I just go with it. I received it as some kind of memory, or I know it meant quite something, and the reason why it's broken, there is a reason why it's broken. So it just made the rest of it even stronger. Somehow, I don't know why, but even though directly nothing relates it to the pictures, you know, that I said was my most powerful, and the other images, but the broken TV image was somehow fitting into those scenes. And that's actually when I thought to myself that, seeing the surfers and the shot right after it, that this film has to do something with longing, like, or, and I saw some loneliness too in there, in those, you know, in those two following shots. That's how I really realized that that's how I feel about it. The beautiful shot, the chimneys, the red ones, and the
Yeah.
train.
Yeah.
It was like very beautiful, and beautiful light, and yeah, very, very beautiful. And I could have just looked at it for a long time. It's like, you know, it's yeah, I hate repeating the same words, but it's like meditating. Or right after, or it was then the voiceover was on. So that's when I was struggling with myself whether I like voiceover or not. Because when it started, I was like, oh no, please no. But then it was like, okay, it's just, you know, just enough and not overdone, you know, because there's always like this tendency in some films that they end up with some, you know, sort of sentimental conclusion or something to leave a viewer even more on, you know, how to say, to make him feel some certain way. So this was not the case, so I was really oh yeah, it was appreciating that, you know, you allowed me to, how to say, to participate in this, and it was definitely interesting. And
Great. Well, thank you for your thoughts and participation.
well, thank you. I was glad to.